What up, what up? This is David from the 5-6 Kings podcast. And you know, guys, it was a rough weekend for me in my UFC picks. But you know who's never had a rough weekend? Subway sandwich shops. Week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, they've provided us with premium, elite sandwiches. I had the privilege of going there today even. You know, that was, I lost the UFC predictions, so I had to buy Subway subs for everybody. Oh, it's so bad. I had the privilege of going to Subway. And guys, when I walk into a Subway, it's not like when a normal person walks in the Subway. I get a hero's welcome. All of the employees erupt in applause. They go, David, thank you so much for all the work you've done for free. You know, Subway's wasting all this money on Tony Hawk and Deion Sanders and Bill Belichick. They got me running ads for free. The employees know I'm the one who puts food on their family's table. I'm putting their kids through school. I'm putting shoes on their kids' feet. Subway. They're good enough for Tony Hawk. They're good enough for you. Subway, please give us some of that money. Hey guys, before we get started, I just want to apologize to the 9 people who listen to our podcast on YouTube. Apparently, Braden doesn't think you guys are as important as the dozens of people who listen to our podcast everywhere else, because he did not upload episode 5. So, I mean, if you guys are really, you're loyal listeners, you really want to listen on YouTube, you're going to have episodes 5 and 6 coming at you this week. Apologize for the week delay. Hopefully, this never happens again. Right, Braden?
Right, David.
All right. Here's a new episode, guys.
That's the Palm Beach County anthem. All my Palm Beach County niggas, y'all put them fucking guns in there and bust them shit. Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. Where niggas get gunned down and left like rolling guns just for fucking round. This ain't a county for you bitches to come around.
What up, and welcome to another episode of the 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Breen. With me, as always, Braden Bullard. Braden, how are you, man?
I am doing phenomenal. How are you doing, David?
I'm doing well, man. And ladies and gentlemen, 2 weeks in a row, back to back, we got the champ. Well, not really the champ, but the man, the Hoff, Nick Hoffman. Nick?
What is going on, fellas?
Nick, thanks for joining us again. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to get this out of the way in the beginning. Stick around till the end, because at the end, we're going to make an announcement that is going to rock the very foundation upon which all of your lives have been built. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss that. But
big surprise.
First things first. Last episode, we did our predictions. We talked about UFC 263. UFC 263 has come and gone. And I'm just going to recap everyone's predictions. In the first fight, we all had Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill did not win. Second fight, we all had Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad won. However, Braden had Bilal Muhammad winning via split decision. Shockingly, it was a unanimous decision.
So fucking close.
Not really. So I guess sadly Braden gets the loss there. We all had Leon Edwards winning. However, Braden had it via head kick TKO, and that didn't happen, so Braden gets the loss there. Unfortunately, Nick and Braden each had Brandon Moreno winning the flyweight belt. I had Davison Figueiredo retaining. Figueiredo did not. Braden and I each had Israel Adesanya retaining in the main event. Nick, picking the upset, had Marvin Vettori winning. Nick did not. If you take away Braden's weird predictions of how the fights would end and just give him a win when he picked the winning fighter, we had Braden at 4-1.
Yep.
Nick and I both at 3-2. So Braden, congratulations, sir.
Thank you. That Subway sandwich was delicious.
You got very lucky you saw some of our picks before you picked yours.
No luck here, boy. I'm just studying what I see. I'm studying tape, and I'm giving a grave deal of thought that goes into every fight, and that's how I'm predicting.
That Subway sandwich was delicious.
It was.
And I'm going to be honest, guys. I was happy to buy him, I got to enjoy the food I loved most with the men I love most today. I couldn't ask for more than that. So honestly, thank you guys.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for that sandwich.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Subway, eat fresh. So let's just jump right in. First fight of the night, the Bear Jew Paul Craig versus Sweet Dreams Jamal Hill. We had Paul Craig win. Paul Craig almost immediately dislocated Jamal Hill's arm in an armbar. And then the fight, it went on for like another minute. It felt like the fight went on for another 10 minutes of Jamal Hill's arm just flopping around there.
Yeah, that was kind of scary to see his arm flopping like that. And then, like, I was wondering, okay, is he starting to get actually hurt as well? Because he was caught in, like, a triangle, and the dude was just teeing off with elbows on his head. And I started to think, like, because he was looking almost limp at that point. But then the moment that the ref stopped it, he came out and he looked like he was completely fine. And he was just like, I knew I was fucked. My arm's fucked. But his arm swelled up like crazy around his elbow. It was like a tennis ball, or maybe even bigger, like a softball. It was like hanging off his elbow.
Once you see some guy's arm like just hanging there, the ref should do something. Like he shouldn't he should have stopped it way before he even stopped
I
it.
think I heard something that ref also does, like jiu-jitsu or something like that, where he also refs that or something, where he should have been better at noticing his arm, being broken or dislocated and stopping it earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it was just clear, like, his arm was dislocated. He couldn't protect himself. He's lucky. So Paul Craig noticed, and Paul Craig kept saying to the ref, hey, his arm's broken. And, like, wasn't really pouring it on him with strikes when he had him in the triangle.
And it looked like Hill tried to tap right when his arm dislocated. I don't know if it was a tap or not, but it kind of looked like it.
It was tight.
But his hand was kind of caught up, too, because he was grabbing the wrist.
Yeah, and it looked like he could have just been sprawling. It was.
Yeah.
So, like, had his arm not been broken and the ref saw that and called it a tap, I would have been furious.
Do you think Hill, though, I mean, Hill was still trying after, he dislocated his elbow, but do you think at some point, like, Hill just knew, like, this is done, there's no way I'm going to be able to continue this fight? Or
yeah, I mean, he was fighting with one arm. I think he knew. I think he knew, all right, I'm not going to be able to use my left arm at all. I don't think there's much I can do here.
I feel like he was basically hoping that the ref would see my arm's dangling here. You should probably stop the fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
what
I don't
sucks
think
is, like, what I wonder is, like, what does he go from here? Like, how long is it going to take for him to be able to rehabilitate his arm
So
and be able to get back in?
So Dana White, he interrupted the broadcast, and Dana told John Anik that Hill's arm wasn't broken. It was just dislocated. They put it back in place. I imagine he takes a little time off, but I imagine, like, it's not going to be a year off for that. I imagine he can fight as if it was a normal loss.
Yeah, I'm sure, though, even though they say he dislocated it, I'm sure he tore fucking, like, hella tissue and ligaments around his elbow.
Why are you sure?
Well, just the way it swelled up. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, look at that fucking elbow, bro. There's no way it's just like, oh, yeah, you just pop it back into place and it'll be better in, like, a week.
I mean, that happens.
But it's more like
People
a sprain.
dislocate shit, they just pop it in.
Hell
I'm
no,
not saying
though, like,
he should start training today and fighting, but I think he'll be fine. I don't think that'll be a long-term thing.
I think it might quite possibly be a long-term issue, honestly, because, like, I'm just saying, like, if he fucked up a lot of his joints in his elbow, he might not be able to do things. That's what I'm saying. Look at his fucking elbow. I'm saying it's probably more than just like, oh, it's just dislocated and we just pop it back into place and it'll be fine.
Even if he did hurt it more, he's probably not going to fight until maybe December or maybe even next year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's probably like a year or something until he comes back.
I think I'd be surprised if he didn't fight someone before the year's over.
I like the debate.
So for him, I don't know who that would be. This was his first fight in the top 15. I don't know where he goes from here.
Which sucks because he
everyone
wasn't able
else
to show much, in that fight.
Yeah, sucks. It's happened real quick. It's real unfortunate.
But where does the Bear Jew go?
So I like Ryan Spann for him. I think Ryan Spann, he's coming off of a TK win over Misha Serkunov. I think that'd be an interesting fight. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I don't know. It was a quick fight. I imagine within the next couple of months they could do that fight either on an ESPN Plus card or
I do want to
somewhere on
say
a pay-per-view.
How much I enjoyed the seriousness of Craig. I mean, he did live up to his name. Like, he literally looked...
Brayden, I looked at you as he was walking out, and I said, oh, Paul Craig's going to win this fight. I was like,
no,
all three of us made the wrong pick. This guy's winning.
He walked out as if Brad Pitt was like, all right, Bear Jew, and that was his calling.
Hold on, Brad Pitt? Is the Bear Jew a reference to something?
Yeah, you don't know?
No, what is it?
Oh, David. Might be one of the best movies of all time. I mean, how can we understate the craziness of the movie Inglourious Bastards? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It has Brad Pitt and a bunch of other great actors. Super violent movie, and one of the best characters is the Bear Jew.
All right, I guess I'm gonna have to check that out. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, definitely gotta go check it out. But yeah, I was pretty hyped to see Craig come out so serious. I mean, this was like a revelating moment for him. You could just tell he was about to do some Bear Jew shit. And that's exactly what he did. When he put that dude in the armbar, he didn't hold back for a fucking second. He was like, all right, let's just sit here for 1 second and see if the ref maybe, if he taps or something. No, he just immediately was like, I'm going to break this fucking dude's arm.
Well, I mean, I think everyone putting an armbar on someone would try to break someone's arm.
Well, I mean.
But Nick, they obviously wouldn't do it with the intensity that the Bear Jew did it with.
Yeah, exactly. Go rewatch the way the Bear Jew put it on him, bro.
So he did the armbar way more aggressive than anyone did the armbar?
He did the armbar like it was life or death. He didn't just do the armbar. He was like,
Would you say he was being more of a bear?
Yeah, he's trying to rip the fucking arm off.
Was he more of a bear or more of a Jew?
Hold on. This is now I'm starting to think like, okay, if he's Bear and Jew, Man Bear Pig is his next opponent. Get what I'm saying?
All right, should we go on to the next fight, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
All right. Bilal Muhammad versus Damian Maia. Muhammad kind of did what we all predicted him to do. He stuffed 19 of Damian Maia's 20 takedown attempts.
Very impressive.
And just
balance.
Yeah, and he never did anything to really, he never fucked Damian Maia up on the feet, really, but landed some shots, blocked almost every takedown, looked super good doing it.
Yeah, and Damian Maia just looked one-dimensional. I mean, he literally tried the same exact offense and attack the entire time. It was just a single leg takedown. And he got stuffed basically every single time. And never really changed it up. There was a couple times where I was thinking dude, your stand-up's not that bad against, Muhammad. I honestly think, your best shot at winning this fight is keeping the striking going. And, he just constantly kept resorting to trying to do a single leg takedown. Didn't try to even switch up the takedowns at all or anything like that. And I felt like he should have just kept striking, honestly.
No, he shouldn't have. But because that's so
he was landing some shots.
He needs to switch up his takedown game, absolutely. But that's Damian Maia's made a living, made a career out of getting people on the ground and submitting
100%.
him.
100%.
Had he not threatened that, had he been like, I'm just going to strike with him, Bilal Muhammad would have teed off on him. He would have felt no threat of a takedown coming and just teed off on him. I think Damian Maia fought the fight he's always fought the fight everyone thought he was going to try to fight, and Bilal Muhammad just shut it down.
I agree with you. I just think between all the takedowns, he was, he wasn't doing bad standing up with Muhammad. And I really think that Muhammad just has this crazy chin and constantly just walking him down that made Damian think that he had to go for that takedown even more, even though that's his main game plan. I understand. I just think when it's failing so much and, you are landing some shots, even though it doesn't seem to phase him, I don't know, maybe keep it going a little bit longer.
I mean, Maia's stand-up game is bad. I mean, he only threw 55 strikes the whole fight. And his previous fights, when he fought Tyrone Woodley, that fight was the lowest thrown strikes ever in a title fight. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. he tries to get guys to the ground and tries to submit them. That's his game.
And if he was going to switch shit up and try to work on his striking, have that be his thing, he should have done that 7 years ago.
No, 100%. I'm just saying, like, in the middle of the fight, once you get 15 stuff, I know you ended up saying 19, but, like, at what point are you like, all right, obviously my specialty isn't working, Like, I don't know. Still a fight at the end of the day.
But Damian Maia's never going to change that. That's...
I just thought that I thought he was just actually landing some, pretty decent jabs. And even though Muhammad was just walking him down, just felt like, just keep your distance, keep, turning on the outside and just keep the jab. And I don't know, maybe you could set up a better takedown with it, which I think that's what he was trying to do. But I think if he maybe strike just a little bit more, he might have been able to set up the takedown a little bit better.
It's like, I hear everything you're saying, dude. And like, he's like, how old is he, Nick? He's 40-something?
44.
Like, he's not switching up his game at 44 and being like, I'm going to go in there and strike. Like, his game is what it is, and it's not going to change. I hope, maybe.
Yeah.
That's the last we see Damian Maia.
Well, do you see he wants to go out with one more fight, even though his contract is up with the UFC? He's asking Dana and the UFC if he can fight one more time, and asking Nate if Nate will fight with him for his last fight.
Oh, I'd love that.
I think that'd be great.
That's great, and he's not going to tap out Nate Diaz, I think. Good. I don't know that Dana will do it, but Damian Maia deserves that payday and deserves a big fight with Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Big 5-round co-main event on a big pay-per-view card or something. He deserves it.
Well, so really quick, I also heard, not to switch it from Damian Maia, but I also heard that Tony wants his last fight possibly against Nate. But then I was thinking, well, what about maybe even has Damian Maia and Tony fought?
We just watched Tony Ferguson get outclassed on the ground by Dariush and before by Oliveira. I think we'd see the same. I think Maia would take Tony down and just dominate him.
You think?
Yeah. Unless Tony could keep it standing up and could TKO him, but I wouldn't. Like, and so, like, for both of them, for both of them, that's not a big fight. That's not a co-main event on like a big pay-per-view. That's not for them. I'd like to see both of them fight Nate Diaz and get a big payday and then retire.
I feel that. So, do you think that they'll both end up getting a fight like that?
No, I would honestly be surprised if either of them got a fight against Nate Diaz.
Well, I mean, Ferguson, I think he's about time up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, his past 3 fights, he's looked terrible. So.
Yeah.
But, I mean.
Shit. But the thing is, Nate only wants to fight the upcoming best. You know what I'm saying? Even if he
wants to fight either the biggest fight or he wants to fight the baddest motherfucker.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. I doubt he's gonna take up Damian Maia or Tony.
Yeah. Let's talk about the winner of this fight though, Bilal Muhammad.
Looked good.
I thought he looked real good.
Yeah.
Coming off that unfortunate fight against Leon Edwards where he got poked in the eye and the fight was thrown out early. Looked good. Stopped almost every takedown that Damian Maia, who's maybe the best grappler in the history of the UFC, stopped almost every takedown attempt. Looked good on the feet.
And it seemed like he made it harder for himself. I don't want to, obviously fucking is, one of the best, but it seemed like until later into the rounds, like he was barely sprawling. It was like at first he was always bouncing on one leg and then just like, working out of the takedown on the fence. Rather than later in the rounds, he started to sprawl more and just stuff him right. Could be even the center of the ring. But I was surprised like the way that Muhammad was able to keep his balance, against Damian Maia's takedowns, especially just like hobbling on one leg back to the fence just to try and work it there. I was pretty surprised.
Yeah. What do you guys like for Muhammad after this?
Man, I want, like, he's a stockier guy for his weight class, but like shorter, and I want to see him fight someone that's similar size comparison. I feel like he fights a lot of people that are taller and lengthier than him, or at least has been. And I don't know, I kind of want to see him brawl someone that's around his size.
I mean, I say if Leon doesn't get a title shot, I say rebook those two guys. Why not?
I don't know. I think
I hate that for Leon.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For Muhammad, that'd be awesome. But
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not his fault he got poked in the eye. Leon, it's not the best fight for Leon because he's there to get a title shot. But I mean, if he's not
what's
getting
Muhammad ranked now? I mean, because Damian was 12 and he was what?
Damian was
or 9,
8 or 9. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Muhammad moves into the top 10.
Muhammad was 12. That's right.
I think so. Michael Chiesa thinks that he should get a title fight or he should fight Colby, and I think that's just silly. I would love to see Bilal Muhammad versus Michael Chiesa.
Yeah.
If Chiesa's not going to take that fight, and he's like, "No, I should get a bigger fight. I should get someone in the top 5." Bilal Muhammad, Neil Magny, I think would make a lot of sense. But Chiesa would be my pick. I think that'd be a fun matchup, and it'd be two guys who that'd be a huge win for either of them.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. I don't know. Muhammad looked great, but it's just really weird with some of the other people in his division right now. I mean, especially to try and say it, because Edwards, he should be, I think, fighting for the championship.
So that's, I was going to save it for when we talk about the next fight, but I think Leon should either get a title shot now or if he has to wait, just wait and see what happens with Usman and Colby. But I don't think he should have to fight again. The dude hasn't lost since 2016 when he lost to Usman. Since then, he's been 8-0. I think he deserves a title shot. I think he shouldn't have to beat anyone else, and he shouldn't fight anyone ranked below him.
I think what they're going to do is he's either going to fight Usman for the title or he's going to fight the loser between Colby and Usman and then fight for the title.
No, that'd be crazy.
He would not fight the loser between Usman and Colby. He would.
That's so because then UFC just has the welterweight champ waiting, and then one of those guys is eliminated. That'd be.
Yeah,
I hate that idea, and I hate your dumb face for saying it right now.
Fuck you, bro.
But let's jump into that fight.
And whatever. Watch it happen though.
Give what we think. It won't happen.
That's what you think.
Unless the champion got hurt, and they're like,
the
champion would have to get hurt, and they'd be like, we'll do an interim fight.
But what if the champion doesn't want to keep doing? What if the champion's like, no, I want to see Colby or Edwards fighting, and why should I be the most active person in my division like I always am?
Dana White says because it's my fucking company, and I'm not gonna have those two fight each other. You could take some time off, but I'm not gonna have the number 1 and number 2 contenders fight when Leon Edwards has done enough to get a title fight.
I thought Edwards was number 3.
Yeah, but he won, and number 2 is Gilbert Burns, who Usman just beat the fuck out of. If Edwards doesn't jump Gilbert Burns, I'll be surprised.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, even that would be a possibility, I honestly think.
What?
Edwards and Gilbert?
Leon Edwards shouldn't fight another fight.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying the possibility what I think the UFC might do. I'm not saying what I think should happen.
And Leon Edwards should say no.
And just stay waiting for the
You
title.
should be like, Dan, show me another person who's won 8 fights in a row and their last fight was to the current champion. And I'll fight someone.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. Let's talk about that fight, though. Because Leon beat the fuck out of Nate Diaz for 24 minutes. I thought he looked incredible, and I thought he looked like a fucking problem for Kamaru Usman. His leg kicks were great. He busted up his good eye, not the eye that Masvidal busted up in Madison Square Garden, had the fight stop, and then split open the side of Nate's head with an elbow. He just looked incredible. His grappling was good. And then with a minute left in the fight, Nate stuns him with a left, and I thought Nate was going to win it.
Yeah.
First time maybe ever in the middle of a fight, I stood up and was yelling at the TV. I was like, no fucking way. No fucking way. And then Nate he couldn't finish him, unfortunately, and Leon won. Oh, real quick, because I passed that fight. Bilal Muhammad won via...
split decision.
Unanimous decision.
Nah.
How crazy is that? The refs, or not the refs, the judges all picked the right guy to win. One of them wasn't like, oh no, I think Damian Maia won. They nailed it. They hit it out of the fucking park.
Yeah, that's unusual for the UFC judges. I mean, usually one judge is scoring wrong.
Not usually.
No.
Sometimes.
That's big debate Always.
Yeah, but not usually.
It is still crazy that you picked that fight and you go split decision right there.
Dude, if Damian Maia got one fucking takedown.
He did get one takedown.
But he didn't do anything with it. If he got one takedown, did something with it, did a little bit with it, maybe got 2 takedowns.
Okay, keep adding
Actually,
more
did
stuff.
he get a takedown? I don't remember him getting a takedown.
Yeah, I've said like 20 times in this podcast that he stuffed 19 of 20 takedowns.
No, I didn't hear it.
Which means he landed one, and he won the round that he did that.
I thought he stuffed every single takedown. But no, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a possibility that Damian Maia could have ended up winning a round in that fight. I mean,
he did win a round.
No,
that doesn't make it a
split
decision, though.
Dude, that's not. You don't know what a split decision is.
No, yes, I do.
What's a split decision?
A split decision is when it comes down between 2 out of the 3 judges of deciding whether they won or not. I mean, it comes down to the score. So if 2 judges score it very closely and the other judge scores it the other way, then it's a split decision.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Damian Maia won the first round on all 3 of the judges' cards.
Oh, shit.
They all 3 said it was 29-28, Bilal Muhammad. Yeah. It's insane for you to be like, one of the judges is going to give it to Maia. That's my prediction. That's insane for you to have done that.
But I'm saying before the fight, bro, it's not crazy to think that
yes,
can
it
happen.
is.
No, bro.
Dude,
I don't think so.
So it's not crazy to think that it can happen.
That's what I'm saying.
To predict it and say, my prediction is that he's going to win via split decision is fucking insane,
But
dude.
even now after the fight, like, what I'm saying is it still could have easily went the other. Like, Muhammad could have been taken down more. Like, it could have happened again to where it could have been even closer, is my saying. Like, it's still not out of the realm of possibilities for me to predict something like that.
So you're saying, like, oh, it's not. Like, no, you predicted that would happen.
Yeah.
That one ref would get it wrong.
And what
and
happened?
That the other 2 would
and
get
what
it
happened?
right.
Who bought whose Subway sandwiches?
They all got it right. I mean, had we gone off of your real predictions, you would have lost. I was nice, and I was like, you know what, Braden? I don't think he knows what a split decision is. I'll buy the subs.
Hey, we can make the next deal where it has to be. You got to choose exactly.
I would love that.
All right.
I would love that. It's gonna be 5 split decisions and a head kick TKO. But back to this fight. I mean, I thought Leon looked incredible, which is why I don't think he should fight again until he's fighting for a belt. Just for 24 minutes, completely outclassed Nate, and Nate made it fun. Nate kept like walking back and forth and like flipping him off and then jumping
shit.
in. Like, yeah. It was a typical Nate Diaz fight. And had he finished it, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Like, had with a minute left, he knocks him and then just goes in and finishes the fight. That would have been the best fight ending I've ever seen in my life.
He should have for sure jumped on him when he saw him wobbling. He pointed at him and started laughing. I think he should have rushed him right away.
So I said that, and then Braden made a good point. He said he probably can't see out of his left eye, doesn't realize how bad he really hurt him. And that made a lot of sense to me. Because I was like, why the fuck isn't he going in?
And
I was like, he knows he hurt him. Braden's like, he might not see.
If you look at Edwards, too, right after he gets hurt, they look at each other, and Edwards almost smirks. Like his eyes are still rolling. You could tell he's wobbly, like from our perspective. But if you look really closely, he gives like a little smirk to Nate, and I think that's what they were looking at. And maybe Nate didn't. Nate was probably saw him like smile, like, oh, because Nate's probably like, or Edwards probably like, man, I'm about to be knocked out. And looking at Nate kind of smiling like, hi, I got you. And then Edwards laughs a little bit. Nate probably thought like, maybe he's not as dazed as he is. Like, maybe I caught him with a good shot, but maybe he's not as wobbled as from our perspective. That's what I was kind of thinking. But yeah, man, if he would have just rushed him, he didn't even have to fully connect or like fully knock him out clean. If he would have just berated him with punches and just momentum, Edwards probably would have lost his footing, fell, and then the ref would have been like, no, this is too much, and called it off and would have been TKO. Like he didn't have to like drop him with another shot. He just had to, if he would have just pressured him like crazy on the fence or something, the ref, I think, would have just stopped it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could have. It's unfortunate that he didn't, because that would have been a huge difference in the fight. I mean, it would have ended the fight, but a huge difference with what we're talking about Nate Diaz can do next.
But that last minute of him wobbling him, it almost basically feels like he didn't lose. Like if you,
100%.
Like the hype around him.
Yeah, when people look at the fight as a whole, like where it would have went to, like if this is life or death or something like that, like, you know, when you look at it from a different perspective other than just the scorecards, yeah, most people would have probably put their money on Nate for the rest of the fight.
Well, that was after the fight. Nate said, in a real fight, everybody knows I won.
Yeah.
And, like, you know what? The fight ended with him on the offensive. And it wasn't like Edwards was just hanging back trying to, he's like, I'm winning the decision. Like, Edwards went into the 5th round trying to put him away. And then
at
Nate,
the end, he was just trying to survive, though.
Yeah.
Like, until the very last seconds, you could tell Edwards was just trying to survive, you know?
Yeah. Nick, what do you like for Leon next?
I mean, he should for sure get the title shot. Like, I know they're trying to get Covington and stuff, but I think if they offer Leon Covington, I think he shouldn't do it. Because, I mean, he's won enough, and he should have the title shot. Usman's already fought Covington, and Leon's been winning. He should for sure get a title shot, but I mean, he could be like, yo, fuck it, I want to stay active.
Yeah.
And he accepts that fight, but...
Now, why do you think Dana feels so compelled to have Colby versus Usman before Edwards versus Usman?
Because he said a while ago that Colby's getting the next fight. And,
that's what I was going to... You think it's just from
and
that?
there's a rivalry. They don't like each other. That's a more marketable fight than Leon Edwards would be. What I really hated, though, was John Anik mentioned, like, after the fight, he's like, Leon Edwards might be in line for a title shot. I bet Stephen Thompson and Michael Chiesa would think differently, though. Because I did a little research, and since Leon Edwards' loss to Kamaru Usman, also keep in mind, he didn't fight in 2020. He sat out the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Since that loss, he is 8-0. Wonder Boy is 3-3 in that time period. Michael Chiesa is 4-2. Like, it's silly to think that either of them would jump Leon Edwards in the order.
Yeah.
I think for sure, if I was booking, I'm booking Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman next.
Yeah.
But I think for sure Leon should sit, unless he wants to stay active. Again, I say this every episode we talk about UFC. I don't know their financial situation.
Yeah.
Like, if Leon can afford to sit and wait, he should sit and wait and not fight again.
Yeah.
Obviously, if he needs to make the money, take a fight. Hopefully you win.
I, for some reason, think that John maybe said that because they're similar popularity and name. So it's like maybe they pair better together in like a fight because the popularity.
Well, no, and I get why he said it. Those are two guys who have said they want a title fight, and it's his job to create drama, create a selling point. Like, I get why he said it. I just don't like that he said it.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't know. It's like, fuck. Who does Diaz fight next?
I think Masvidal or Conor. I think it would be awesome for Damian Maia or Tony Ferguson if they got a Nate Diaz fight.
No, for them, but not for Tony.
But
not for
Diaz. I think Nate should either fight Masvidal for the BMF, or if Conor loses to Dustin next month, I think Nate Conor 3.
Yeah. Well, then that's up to Conor, and then it's like they got to do something with the BMF belt. They can't just have this belt like a one-time fucking off thing.
I mean, I think they were trying to say it was going to be a one-time off. I don't know if they want to bring it back, though.
I honestly enjoy the belt.
I think they would bring it back if it was him against Nate. I don't think Masvidal is just going to be like, all right, I can't win the welterweight belt. Now I'm just defending the BMF belt against whoever I fight against. Like, I think they would do it if it was those two.
But that's great. They should have that belt, and they should try to get Diaz to win it too, because it's going to bring more popularity around the belt. Again, more hype around it. And the thing is, there needs to be a belt like that for fighters who are fucking brawlers, who end up kind of being like the what are they? What's the terminology where it's like the cage keeper or something like that?
Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper. For like these gatekeepers who are down to brawl like crazy, I think they should have a, kind of like a belt like that, because they're usually going to pick those brawlers, though, to fight for the belt than like someone who's going to be, going for the, world championship in whatever weight class.
But it's tough because like, what, do they just have one in every weight class? Like,
No,
because right now, like Anthony Smith's the gatekeeper at 205. Like, would he fight Frankie Edgar?
I would think you would try to no, 100%. I think you would try to make it where it's like that middle between a couple weight classes, you know, because this one you could probably do like 155 to 170.
I think doing what they've done with it and having that be it.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I don't think they should have made a belt.
Yeah.
I think it should have just been Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal to see who the baddest motherfucker is.
The cat is out of the bag, David, and there's no bringing it back in. So it's like, how do you capitalize on it more? You know, and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you don't see Masvidal just wearing the BMF belt around like the actual champions wear it when they go out and stuff. He's not. He's probably just in his room, just dust collecting right now.
No, I agree, but I also think that's because there's once again not enough competition and hype, you know, around it. It was like that one-time thing, but it's like if you can keep that, I don't know. I think it's a good way, another thing for people to chase, another way to bring hype to divisions.
I think it's less cool if they have like multiple baddest motherfucker belts and it's on the line all the time. I think doing it makes it cool. It makes it unique. Like I think it should just be Masvidal versus Nate. And then I think if Nate wins, he defends it against Conor. And I think that's where it should stop.
Yeah.
I think it should be guys like that who are big draws, but might not be
fine
fighting for
line
belts.
because you can't have too many belts. Like, you know, you're saying you can't oversaturate. You know, you don't want to take away from the heavyweight championship or the world championships.
They shouldn't have more than one.
What do you mean? Just style, like that the BMF is, or weight division? That
belt should be the only.
Yeah, so no other weight division or anything.
It like shouldn't. Yeah, if Masvidal wants to defend it against people, it can be a thing. But I think it shouldn't really like exist multiple places.
Well, I mean, also that belt doesn't technically have a weight class, but it's gonna be at whatever. Like if they have it again, Masvidal's obviously gonna defend it, but it's not. It could be at a different weight class if he ever does defend.
Well, yeah, I guess that's how it could change. You know, if like a 170er ended up fighting like a 185 pounder or something, or 155, you know, and then it could kind of move divisions a little bit, I guess. But I don't know. I think for Nate Diaz, the next two fights is definitely either between McGregor or between Masvidal. And it's like, you know, how many more fights does he have in his career as well?
Yeah, and like at this point with Nate, it wouldn't make sense for him to fight like Jeff Neal.
No, yeah.
Or Neil Magny, like going down the 170 card and trying to work his way to a title fight. Like,
yeah.
He's either fighting Conor or Masvidal or like Colby Covington.
Yeah.
You know, Colby Covington loses to Usman. Him and Nate fighting, that'd be entertaining. That'd be a fun fight.
Great fight.
Nick, do you have a different take on that, or?
No, I actually liked what you just said. The Colby Nate Diaz, I like that fight a lot. Actually, if Colby were to lose to whoever, I'd like that for sure. All the hype up to it for sure, trash talk and all that I think it would do really well.
Oh, it would be amazing. And the best. Do you remember when Nate was asked about Colby? No. He was like, I don't know who that is, but you know, if he's like one of these fake bitches, like. I don't want to do it, but like if he's a real motherfucker, let's go in there and throw hands. Like it was amazing. Colby's like, oh yeah, he doesn't know who I am. I don't think Nate knew who he was. Like I think that's who Nate Diaz is. Like Colby's one of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah,
I believe Nate genuinely did not know who he was. He's like, I don't know who he is, but if he's a real motherfucker, like let's get in there. If he's a fake pussy who's gonna just run around the cage, I don't want to do it. Like it was amazing.
Really quick, I want to touch on just how cool Diaz is. I don't know if you guys saw at the press conference. This man, way too casually, just starts lighting up a joint, like as if he genuinely didn't do it for any type of purpose of being cool or anything like that. Like just sparked it up and then just acted like he wasn't even smoking. Just like looked around for a second, was just like, and then just started smoking again. Everyone starts losing their shit in the crowd.
Which press conference?
For UFC 263, obviously.
No, I was sending you. This was before the fight that he did this.
Oh yeah.
This wasn't like after the fight. Relaxing after. This was the day before he went and fought.
Yeah. So, it's still the press conference, but it's not the post fight.
I was setting you up to like point out how it was much cooler. Like
Yeah,
it was
right
before
yeah,
the fight.
Yeah. So it was literally the day before the fucking fight, and yeah, he's smoking J's up on the phone, which is funny too because like everyone's just cool about it. No one's like, hey, listen, you can't smoke in here. Like, I mean, regardless if you're allowed to smoke weed in the state or not.
That would have been great if a security guard went up and was like, hey man, you can't be doing that in here. We're indoors. I can't have that. You got to put that out.
Or like Dana White, like, hey, what are you doing?
I think they even stopped. Did they stop testing for?
Yeah, they stopped, so they don't.
Because I remember him doing the pens post fight, and people were like, "Oh, what is that? What are you smoking on?" And then he started saying it, and it was like CBD stuff and all that. And I guess after that, they started to legalize that.
Yeah, I don't know when it was changed, but I do remember reading recently that they got rid of that in testing.
And so with that particular thing, I remember the USADA guy was on some podcast I listened to, and he was talking about Nate doing that up on the thing, and someone who worked for him texted him, was like, hey, should we test Nate? And he was like, this isn't why. Like, we aren't testing guys to get them. Like, we test them in competition before a fight, and if they pop for something, we have to suspend them. Like, which I thought was Jeff Novinsky is who the USADA guy is, but the golden snitch. But yeah, so like I thought that was cool that he's like, he got a text and he's like, guys, like we're not just trying to get him. Like if he wants to smoke CBD when he's out of competition, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think Diaz has got a couple more very interesting fights, and I think what do you think ends up happening if Edwards does fight for the title against Usman?
That's a fun fight.
Do you think he's made enough changes since the last time they fought to?
Yeah, last one was 5 years ago. Neither of them were big names. They were both up and comers. And he brought him a decision. Nick's leaning, and then I'm gonna let him talk.
They are both probably way different fighters from when they fought, and both are so much better. Usman is ridiculously so good.
And like, yeah, don't let my hype of Leon Edwards cloud. I think Usman is the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now.
Yeah, did you see his post on Instagram today where it was like this little digital animation of like this graveyard, and it's every person's name on every different fucking graveyard.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. I counted, it was like 13 fighters they put on there, and it's wild.
Yeah, like I think he is the best fighter in the world right now. But I think Leon Edwards gives him trouble. Because Leon Edwards is just so... And the Nate fight, like, I'm so glad he got 5 rounds on a big pay-per-view against a big name to do that. And he just showed how well-rounded he is and how he's good at everything.
Yeah, and he was super calm and collected. Like, you could see how he, like, definitely was able to keep his pace. But one thing that worries, I think, me and everyone else, especially Gilbert Burns, who threw it out in a tweet, is... when he was talking about, this might have hurt his title shot, was because of the way that it wasn't the fact that Edwards got clipped. It was the way he got clipped. It was almost identical to the way that Masvidal got knocked out by Usman, is almost the exact same way Nick Diaz almost knocked out Leon Edwards.
Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz. Dyslexia, sorry.
Yeah, and that's why... I think more than likely we get Colby versus Usman next.
Yeah.
I think Gilbert Burns' exact tweet was that he said that shot at the end just made it so Colby's jumping Leon in the order for sure.
Yeah.
And I think I agree. I think that's what happens, but I don't think Leon Edwards should fight anyone else. I think he should wait for the fallout of that.
No, I agree.
And then he gets a title shot. Do we want to move on, boys?
Yeah.
Do we want to move on? This was, for the 5-6 Kings, this was the most important fight of the night because this is what decided that I could not win. It was when Brandon Moreno beat Davison Figueiredo to become the new UFC flyweight champion. Brandon Moreno, I'm so upset that I picked against him because I love him.
Yeah.
He's such a likable guy.
Yeah.
And just start to finish looked incredible. And then tapped Figueiredo out in the third round. But there was never a point in that fight where I was like, oh, Figueiredo's in this. Like, that whole fight, I was like, oh, Moreno's fucking him up. Like, this is not going to end well for me. And it didn't.
I didn't listen to Figueiredo in the post-fight press conference or anything. Well, I think I did like a second, but I don't remember him talking about like his game plan or anything like that. And I wonder, was his game plan just to try and catch him with one, heavy shot, or was because he didn't try to set up anything,
It's what it looked like. He hung back, didn't throw high volume at all, and just threw like big swinging hooks and missed horribly. He didn't look like a defending champion who's had a few title defenses and has looked fantastic in his run. He looked like someone who was just in there winging it, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it kind of seemed like he just thought he was going to be so precise to catch him with one heavy shot. Like he didn't have to do more. Or as if, his game plan that he was going for last time would have been the same now, but he's like, man, if I couldn't put him away last time, I got to do something different this time to try and put him away. And maybe that's why he was trying to load up more and didn't set up as much. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's almost like either something was wrong with him that he came into the fight with, or something weird was with.
Think he had a stomach infection again?
I was going to say, maybe this time the stomach infection stayed around.
I don't know, but he did not look like the guy in the first fight at all.
And that's when I started thinking too, like, okay, maybe in his head he knows, like, oh man, I can't do last fight again. I gotta do it differently. And even if that means like loading up and sacrificing, possibly getting hit more. So I don't know, because at the same time he still looked confident in there. Even though he wasn't setting up shit, like he didn't look like shit was phasing him. Even though he got submitted, I don't think he thought that he was going to get taken down by Moreno and that he could possibly, over the 5 rounds, he doesn't think Moreno's going to knock him out, so he could just constantly try and set up that one knockout shot is what I think maybe he thought his game plan was.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't, though.
No, 100%. And I don't think he thought he was going to get submitted at all.
No, that was... And if you would have asked me, like, hey, if Brandon Moreno wins it, how's he going to win it? I would have said just decision. He'll land volume strikes. He'll outstrike him, and he'll win a decision.
Split decision?
Unanimous decision. But, yeah, Moreno, he hurt him in both rounds, which was interesting. Hurt him and dropped him in both rounds. And then
a jab in that first round. That's crazy.
And then took him down and choked him out, or didn't choke him out, put him in a ring, had him tap out from the choke.
I feel like if you're a champ, you should just go out. You shouldn't tap there.
Yeah, but I mean,
hold on, but
that's easy for us to sit here and say that.
No, but also in Hoff's defense, you can't be wearing what's this character's name, Kratos or some shit. You can't be wearing that haircut and then tap. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I understand, like on an arm bar or anything where you're gonna have something break, you're gonna tap. But if you're just gonna go out for like 10 seconds, just go out. I mean, that's just kind of how I see it.
Especially with the Kratos haircut. I mean, come on.
I mean, I think you're just a tougher motherfucker than Davison Figueiredo, then, Nick.
Yeah, maybe you should go.
Davison Figueiredo's a little pussy, tapping out.
No, yeah, but that fight was crazy. Yeah, I had Moreno. I knew, it's just wild though too to think, because he's such a likable guy. He's so sweet, and then he comes into the fight and he's a fucking savage. I mean, you could just tell, like, he was so devoted to going out on his shield no matter what. Like, he knew that how much this was going to change his life, and you could just tell that was his fucking energy. Like, he had the literal energy of a champion. It was kind of corny, but yeah.
No, he went in there right away, was aggressive from start to finish, and just put him on there. Like, it looked like there was no doubt in his mind he was winning that fight. And he did.
So then now, what happens to Figueiredo?
Figueiredo, like, nothing about that fight makes me think I want to see a rematch. I think Brandon Moreno versus Askar Askarov needs to be the match next.
Yeah.
They fought to a draw back, I don't even know how long ago it was, like a couple years ago. Askarov tweeted a picture of him just ragdoll Moreno in that fight and said, "We have some unfinished business. See you soon." I think that's a great fight to set up. Have that be Brandon Moreno's first title defense, and let's see, Askarov's a fucking killer, so that'd be a fun fight. But I just, the first fight was a classic. This fight, Moreno completely outclassed him, and Moreno's 4 or 5 years younger.
Yeah, I totally see it where Figueiredo, goes and wins probably, I want to say 2 fights. and then they rebuilt, and especially if Moreno wins, another fight or two, then they're definitely. I see them having a rematch, but not right away. I see a couple fights down the road, and then they're gonna rebuild it up once when they're both better, even in their primes. Obviously Figueiredo's older and was just like in a crazy prime, but I think they're gonna reestablish a new prime after he wins probably another 2 fights.
And the weird thing for Figueiredo is like he's beaten Benavidez, he's beaten Alex Perez. We have Pantoja and Brandon Royval. We have them fighting in August. Like, there's no one in the top 5 for him to fight.
Yeah, it's definitely awkward right now.
Like, it's a weird spot where, and Vettori's in a similar spot. We'll talk about that next. But, there's really, does he fight someone on the back end of the top 10 and risk, all right, if I lose this fight, I'm done?
Well, I think what he's going to do is he's going to wait. I think he's going to wait for Moreno to fight.
He said after the fight.
Oh, he wants to fight.
Dana, I want to. What?
No, he wants to fight right away.
Yeah. I want to fight in the next 4 months. What he said.
Yeah.
So that's
No, and I agree. But I also think that so maybe he does fight right away within the next 4 months. But I still think he's going to try and fight whoever Moreno fights next, and let's say probably loses to Moreno, and then he fights the loser, and then he tries to get that title shot. Is what I assume he tries to play. Because, he's going to try and get back in that championship fight. There's no way he's going to dance around it, he's not going to just... there's no one else big enough in his division for him to not just chase the championship, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. But, also, if he's telling Dana he wants to fight real soon, Dana can be like, well, the only guy that I have, he's an up-and-comer. He's either scraping 15 or he's outside of the top 15. Sheesh. But here's a guy for you. If you want this fight, you can take it.
I don't think he gives someone outside.
You're gonna have to wait. That's probably what's gonna end up happening.
I didn't even think about before the fight. This was Figueiredo thinking he was gonna win and be champ and move up to 135. You could fight someone in the top 10, top 5 of 135. Move up a weight division. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier, but move up a weight division, fight someone, try to get in the title picture there. Because this has been he's missed weight a couple times at 125. He's gotten that under control his last few fights.
Well, you could just tell. He has a shit ton of muscle on him, and he is fucking as shredded as you. He is as low body fat.
He's as shredded as me.
Yeah, yeah. As David Breen on them Subway sandwiches.
Yeah. No, and that would be real interesting. Seeing how he would do at 135, who he could match up with.
He'd probably be healthier, more explosive too, and be heavier. So fuck. I don't know. I could see Figueiredo doing even better. But then it's like, does Moreno end up trying to become the champ down the line? Because he can move up to 135,
Yeah, no, and that'd be real interesting.
If they fought at the 135, holy shit.
But if there ends up being a champ between those two divisions, they'll get rid of the lower division.
Because they've already been debated about it.
To do.
Yeah. And it's just them two keeping it really alive.
Maybe Dana will be like, hey, you want to go up and wait and fight for the belt here, and then we'll dissolve.
They were trying to get rid of 125 when it was just Mighty Mouse, and there was really no one else in division. 125 is a good division right now.
No, that's why
they have a young champ, Brandon Moreno. They have Kai Kara France, Alex Perez, Brandon Royval. There's good fighters at 125 that I think they would want to keep the division around because they have young guys who could go on and win.
Yeah. And then it's like, you want to keep that, you want that extra championship title fight. You want that flyweight division. It's just going to bring more money and more matchups and
there's a pay-per-view every month.
Yeah.
They got to have champions. They got to have main events for that. And I don't know why they wouldn't be able to market Brandon Moreno if they want to try to make a star out of the flyweight division. He's the first Mexican-born champion. He's a super likable guy.
So now you're bringing in this whole new demographic of viewers, all this new money that's going to be, brought in not just from the division, but from Moreno. So I think it's a win-win to keep the division around.
His next title defense should be in Mexico. That would be crazy. It wouldn't happen because of right now, but...
Yeah, that's what Izzy said, though, too, in New Zealand.
And that was Brandon Moreno versus Oscar Oskarov. That was in Mexico City. They fought to a draw. It was a good fight. I think bring that back, have that be Moreno's first title defense.
I mean, that would be great.
5 rounds. Yeah.
I just don't know if they'll be able to do it because of, everything that's going on.
What's going on?
I don't know. There's something about this, like, pandemic or something.
Huh.
Yeah.
First time hearing about this. Do you guys, is there anyone in the flyweight division other than Askarov that you think Moreno should be fighting?
No, I think that's the next guy up for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But fuck, man. Moreno looked great. He's got a great fucking attitude. I'm excited to see him fight again.
Oh, me too. Me too. I didn't pick him to win, but I'm a Brandon Moreno fan.
Yeah.
All right, on to the main event, boys.
Yeah, main event.
Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori for the middleweight belt. Big Hoff with a big, bold prediction. Did not come through. Adesanya, one of the greatest fighters in the world, just outclassed Vettori for 5 rounds. Had a 50-45 unanimous decision. Vettori, after the fight, Adesanya said, "So I guess you can admit I beat you now." And Vittori's like, "What are you talking about? I won."
Yeah, and then Izzy's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? No, you didn't." But I kind of felt bad for Vettori this whole time.
I don't.
You know?
That because he acts like such an asshole and is loud and talks so much shit. If he was like quiet and was like, "I just want to go out there and fight and try to win a championship," then I'd feel bad for him.
Well, I feel like, him being loud is trying to be like this, I don't know, self-protection of the way that he views himself and the way others view him. I mean, he's getting booed and, Izzy's telling him like the legitimate reality of the things that he talks about and the way he acts, and he just won't have any of it. And I just feel like maybe that's what makes me feel bad about him. Like maybe he really knows and he's just lying to himself.
I mean, I don't feel bad. There are plenty of people who fight loud fighters and all that stuff, and they don't act the way Marvin Vettori's acted this whole time. I don't like him, and that's all I want to say about Marvin Vettori.
But it's his dream. I mean, think about it. He's been living his whole life up to this moment to become the new and the only first Italian champion.
I mean, he should set the bar a little bit lower for himself. I don't know what you want me to say here. He's fought Adesanya twice. Adesanya clearly won both. Adesanya dominated this fight to the point like he was smacking and grabbing Vettori's ass in the middle of the fight. Like it was insane.
Acting as if like he's getting hurt when he's not. Like, but not to the point to where you would actually think he's hurt. Like he's just like overly mocking Vettori.
That was so great at the end of the fight. No, the fight was over and he fell and was like grabbing himself. He's like, he got me.
Oh no. It stands up like no. And what's funny too is Vittori's like raising his hand. I mean, that's why I feel bad for him. Like the dude's delusional.
Between every round, Vittori's corner was like, "All right, you lost that round. You got to come out and do this." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I won that round for sure." And they're like, "No, Marvin, you definitely lost that round. You got to come out. You got to try this." He's like, "I'm up on the scorecards. I'm definitely up." Like every single round, his corner's like, "You lost that round." He's like, "No, I didn't."
And
then the fight ended and he lost. Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, dude.
Fucking tell him the truth. Don't be like, "All right, you're doing great. Just keep it up, doing the same thing." It's not working.
But that's why I feel bad.
It's not like his coach. It's not like his coach was just like, "You're losing," and saying nothing else. He said, "Hey, we lost that round. I need you to come out. I need you to do," and like he's explaining to him what he needs him to do to get back into the fight. And Vittori's just like, "No, I'm winning. This is working."
But that's why I feel bad for him, because like obviously he's delusional. He's not just like, trying to hype a fight or oversell, the card or anything like that. Like obviously he like overly believes every single thing he says and does. And that's why I kind of like feel for the man. I'm like, damn, dude. Like he's a great, obviously one of the best fighters, in his weight division. You can't take anything away from him. But I mean, dude,
Watch me.
No, but Izzy is ruthless, bro. Like just the shit, like the way he would talk to him, the shit that he would, talk about and everything, like his lisp and shit. Like I don't know. I felt fucking bad for Marvin, because Marvin's like living in his delusion. Like, no, you can hear what I'm talking about, but like, I don't know, lisping through it, you barely understand.
Vettori was very disappointing in that fight. He got some takedowns, which I said that he needed to get takedowns. He did nothing with his takedowns at all. And I think he thought he was probably up because of his takedowns.
Yeah.
That's probably what went in his mind. He's like, ooh, I got a takedown there. I'm doing good. I'm up on this round, blah, blah, blah. Like that, normally if you get a takedown in a round and you do something with it, that's your round. But he's getting takedowns and he's doing nothing with it.
Yeah.
And that he's just in his head, his own head, thinking he's winning.
Yeah. And Izzy said that, he gives him props to Vettori's boxing. He said that got sharper. But to me, I'm like, dude, Izzy's head movement was great, but Vettori, there's so many times where I felt like he could have capitalized on Izzy being backed up into the fence and, could have tried to land more shots or even throw more. But I felt like he was too hesitant because he just thought he was maybe going to miss because of Izzy's head movement. But it's like, fuck it, dude. Throw it, bro.
Well, because he thought he was winning with his wrestling. Like, he legitimately thought, like, every time, he took him down a couple times, and Izzy got right back up.
Yeah.
And, like, Vettori legitimately thought, like, I'm landing these takedowns, I'm winning the fight. So he thought, I don't need to strike here.
Yeah.
It ain't broke, why fix it? I'm up on the cards. Let's just keep doing what I've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I just found it so weird that there were so many times where he had, even though Izzy, won't say that or make it seem like that, but it seemed like he was like in a vulnerable position, hands down, just doing head movement, backed up against the cage. So that's his only way to, is to bob and weave, is to get around those punches. Can't really even, move, just backed up against the fence. And I felt like Marvin should have just tried to, throw more when he had him in that position. And I felt like sometimes he was being too hesitant. And I felt like that was a big.
Because Marvin Vettori doesn't have a killer's mentality, and he shouldn't be fighting for championships.
You heard it first. David the Savage Breen.
David just threw that man out the club, under the bus.
Be so great. Next time Vettori's being interviewed, hey, yeah, I heard this David Breen motherfucker talking shit on that podcast. Graves calls you out. Fucking for some reason hears this podcast.
He doesn't have the balls to call me out, though. That's the thing. Oh, he'll hear it. He'll hear it. Marvin's listening.
Yeah.
What do you guys like? Most people in the top 10 of the middleweight are matched up. Where does Vettori go from here? Does he wait a while? He looked big. Do you think he tries to go up to 205?
He's calling out Paulo Costa.
Did he call it Paulo Costa?
Yeah, he did.
Paulo Costa's going to fuck him up.
That's what I'm like, dude, please put that fight together. Because I think they're great matchups for each other because they're so similar in size. And I think Paulo is better all around. I just think they'd be a great matchup for each other.
And Paulo needs a big win like that.
Yeah.
So give us that match. Paulo's going to fuck Vettori up, and then he gets a title shot.
And they both get a good payday, too, probably off of it, especially if Paulo is waiting to get a good payday. Marvin's just coming off this, big card. Obviously, his name is still relevant enough to where they can bring in, probably a pretty good payday. So I definitely think they should go to that fight.
Yeah, Vettori's kind of stuck on where he can go right now. So for sure, Costa would be probably the biggest match that he could get, and it would be a good match to see. But for sure, Izzy is for sure gonna fight Whitaker, and he needs to fight Whitaker.
Well, and so after the fight, he called out Bobby Knuckles, as he called him, and said, "We're gonna fight on my time this time, cause I'm the champ." He called him. He might have said, "Cause I'm the shit." He said something cool that I don't remember.
Oh no, he said, "Cause I'm the fucking king," or "I'm the fucking." What you said that? Yeah, I'm the fucking king, the king champ, or some shit.
Neither of us are getting it right, but it was something really cool.
Yeah, super.
That Israel Adesanya said and called out Bobby Knuckles. So, and you know what? That has to be the fight. It wouldn't make sense if he fought anyone else in the middleweight division. I'm excited for that. I think Whitaker will look better.
Yeah.
I imagine Adesanya still wins it, though.
Yeah, man. Fuck, dude. I feel like that is honestly probably going to be the best matchup in that division when it comes to, anyone in that division fighting Izzy. I think that's the best fight.
Yeah. Hopefully we get it this year.
Yeah.
Either if they do Madison Square Garden in November or end of the year. We get that. Maybe we get that on a card with Usman and somebody.
Now let's say Izzy wins against Whitaker. Do you think he ever tries to go back up to light heavyweight?
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
Those guys are so much bigger than him. It's insane. He realized probably after he lost that fight, he's like, damn, I'm gonna stop talking trash to John Jones.
Yeah, I was about to say, do you think we ever get that fight?
Maybe, but John Jones is gonna fight in heavyweight now.
Yeah, there's no hype around it now.
Yeah, and John Jones, like we've seen pictures of him. He's put on way too much size right now to cut down to 205 anytime soon.
Yeah,
he's planning to move to heavyweight. He's fucking huge right now.
How old is John Jones? Anyone know?
Nick.
I'll look this up.
I just think maybe that could be like, years down the road. Maybe that's like their last fight. Izzy versus John.
Yeah, do something like that. But also, like everyone said that about Anderson. We're gonna get Anderson and John before Anderson retired, and we did. We're gonna get Anderson GSP before Anderson retired. We never did.
Yeah.
Super fights like that happen so rarely.
John Jones is 33.
There you go. John Jones is 33.
Oh, then all right. Then yeah, I definitely could see it still being a possibility for you, like years on the road.
Yeah, but I think he tries to make a run at heavyweight, or he never fucking fights again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gets really into weightlifting, starts doing weightlifting competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if Vettori, because the thing is, it's like, okay, but let's say Vettori beats Paulo Costa in some weird way. Was he gonna title shot? No. What?
Yeah, that's the weird. That's the weird thing. And for Paulo Costa, maybe he's like, I'd rather fight someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me either a bigger name or someone who's a little less dangerous, someone who's not as good of a wrestler.
Costa could even jump up. He's a huge dude fighting at that weight class. I'm sure he's cutting a lot to be in that weight class. So, he could even maybe try and I know he wants more money, so maybe he goes up to 205 and tries and fights bigger fights up there. So maybe he does that.
What about I don't know, maybe like Derek Brunson versus Vettori?
Yeah, that'd be an interesting fight. I don't know if Brunson's matched up with anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he is at the moment. But I know he's been getting better. And fuck, bro, I think that would be like an interesting fight.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting. I'd want to see that. Yeah, because other than that, I honestly don't know where you'd go with Marvin Vettori.
Yeah,
Paulo Costa makes sense for Vettori. I don't think it makes a ton of sense for Paulo Costa.
I think it makes somewhat sense, just because he's coming off of the title fight. So it's like if Paulo's trying to get back in, as soon as possible, like who better to fight than the dude who just lost in the championship fight?
Someone who Izzy hasn't fought yet. That's like because Izzy can be like, I beat that bum twice and I knocked out Paulo Costa. Like, why would Paulo Costa get a title shot again?
Yeah.
After he beat someone I beat twice.
Yeah. Fuck, bro. That was a crazy goddamn card.
That was UFC 263.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add?
So, what about that big announcement you had earlier, DTB?
Oh, Nick, I'm glad you asked, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, big things changing in the 5'6" King world. From now on, going forward, we're going to have another page. It's going to be 5'6" King Sports. Our man Nick Hoffman is going to be a regular on the 5'6" King Sports page. We're going to talk UFC. We're going to talk Miami Dolphins, Miami Heat, maybe Florida State, maybe Gators, Hurricanes. I don't know what Nick is into, really. Maybe WWE. We're going to talk all that on 5'6" King Sports. Once we have that up, we'll let you guys know. It'll be available everywhere you get your podcast. Like, subscribe, share it with people. And then on the 5'6" Kings page, it's going to be myself and Braden Bullard breaking down the movies we all know and love, like Alpha Dog and American Gangster and Joyride with Paul Walker and Steve Zahn. Like, it's just going to be a murderer's row of blockbuster hits. You aren't going to want to miss that. That's going to be every week right here on the 5'6" Kings podcast. 5'6" Kings Ports, 5'6" Kings Classic. All of them love Subway. Subway's a fixture everywhere. They're going to start giving us that money. They're going to be coming through for us. Braden, anything else you want to add?
Great Subway sandwiches today. great UFC card, and I'm excited for more podcasts with my 5'6" Kings.
Me too, Nick. I'm excited to have you on 5'6" King Sports as a regular.
It is going to be big time. Do not miss any of these podcasts, especially the 5'6" King Sports. Do not miss it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, go to Subway. Tell them the 5'6" King sent you. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Stay classy.
Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and left slump, we come just for fucking round. This ain't the county for you bitches to come around. Okay, it's 5, 6, 1.